Hello and welcome to opening trap number 7. My name is Mauri and this is the Siberian trap, named after the efforts of Boris Shipkov from Siberia. It's a trap that Black does in the Sicilian defense, so let's have a look. The main game is played in 1983 between Andrei Alexeyev and Boris himself, Shipkov, with the black pieces. E4, c5, the Sicilian. d4, c takes d4, c3. This is the so-called Smith-Morra gambit that White is playing, where he sacrifices a pawn. So Boris accepts gladly with d takes c3, knight takes, knight c6, knight f3, e6, bishop c4, knight f6, queen e2, and queen c7. This is a key move because that queen is going to be looking at the h2 square. We'll see soon why that's going to be very important. And castles and knight g4. This is the trap. So now White needs to understand what's happening. Otherwise, things are going to go really badly wrong for him very quickly. So what is Black up to? Well, the knight is pointing at h2, the queen is also pointing at h2, but there's a knight on f3 defending h2. But that's not going to be enough because Black has more pieces that can be really troublesome for White. In the game, White didn't see what was happening and played h3, wanted that knight to go away. But instead of moving the knight back, Black had a much stronger move, which he did, and which is winning. Can you see what that move is? So what are Black's most active pieces? It's the knight on g4, it's the queen, but it's also the knight on c6. So now, kind of a killer blow is knight d4. And this move is incredibly strong and will win either the white queen or end in checkmate immediately. So why is that, you might ask? Let's look at White's options. Well, what happens if you take the knight? Well, the answer is pretty simple. Queen h2 is checkmate. So that's the point of this trap. What else could White do if he, let's say, moves the queen? Well, now we can just take this knight with check, and this is going to be mate on the next move, no matter what White does. King h1, queen h2 checkmate, queen takes knight on f3, queen h2 again checkmate. So you just can't avoid that checkmate after that. Which means that in this position White is already lost. And in the game, White simply had to prolong the game. He simply had to give the queen with h takes g4. I'll just show you how the game went. We have some more, you can see all the moves here even. We have some more moves, and after knight takes e2, check, bishop takes e2. Black is winning, but there is some precision still required because, well, after all, White did get 2 pieces for that queen. So let's see how good old Boris Shipkov converted this position into an actual win, or into a position where White finally did resign. So let's see, we have a6, and I'll just make some moves. I'll just go pretty quickly through the moves, and then I'll maybe stop at some key moments. e5. The moment you can see that they're both just developing their pieces. Stepping out of the pin is important. If your opponent has a rook on a file and your queen is on the same file, or the king, then getting out of that file is often a very good idea. So queen b6, but at the same time targeting f2. So defends that. And d5. And in this position, White is allowed to take en passant, as we call it. He could take the pawn like this, but he's not forced to do it either. I think if he does that, Black can just simply recapture like this. So, but that's the en passant move that not all beginners, or many beginners actually, don't know about. So White chose not to do that and just played knight e2, knight g5, targeting h7. So h6, knight h7 anyway, attacking the rook, which moves away. Knight f4, white is trying to bring his pieces closer to the black king to try to do some damage, but it's not gonna work. Bishop e7, defending some key squares like g5 here and f6. Knight h5, rook c8. This is actually also an important thing to note, especially if you're new to chess. You might not know that rooks want to be on so-called open files. So an open file is a file with no pawns on it, and the C file is such a file. So put your rooks on an open file. Also, if you're the one that's winning on the material front, then trade pieces. So that's a really good strategy as well. Black is the one who has more material, so offer to trade pieces as well. So here the trading rooks, the remaining pieces just become more powerful with every trade. Bishop f4, queen a5, attacking the pawn on a2, defended. Queen b4, now attacking the pawn on b2. And bishop g5, just like before, trade pieces when you're ahead in the material department. This seems to be losing a pawn maybe at first sight, but it's actually not. After take, if you take this pawn, not only does black regain the pawn, but also now the queen is attacking both of the knights, and white actually can't save both of them. So king h2 instead, queen c3, knight now did take, but queen takes on e5, f4, queen e2. We have a bishop check on h7, king f8, rook d3, and g6, and this is when white finally had enough here and resigned. The bishop has been trapped and might get picked up as well. So this was the main game, Andrei Alexeyev versus Boris Shipkov. I'll show you another example where Boris did exactly the same thing. If we go just back to the start very quickly, take the Smith-Morra gambit again. This is another of Boris's games. This one was played in 1987, and knight g4. And in that other game from 1987, against a player named Collenbet, white played bishop b3, but after knight d4, white resigned. He saw what was happening, but just saw it one move too late. Now we have exactly the same thing happening here, which is that white is about to lose his queen or get checkmated. And finally, just one more example, not one of Shipkov's game. This is game played in 1990 between Trotardi versus Pira, and in that case there wasn't a Smith-Morra gambit, but knight f3, e6, take, and actually now it did transpose to the Smith-Morra gambit with c3, take, knight c6, bishop c4, knight f6, castles, queen c7 again. So remember, the queen goes to c7, targeting the h2. You want your knights on f6 and c6 just in their normal developing positions, and then you spring your knight to g4, and you hope that white doesn't see what's coming, because white still actually can stop this after knight g4. You just need to know this trap if you're white, and then you can still stop it. But if you play h3 like in that game, then knight d4 will happen and white is lost. So how does white stop this after, let's say, knight g4, when I said white still has a way out, which he does? How would he do that, do you think? Well, there's maybe more than one way for white to stop this, but one of the ways is g3. So now knight d4 can simply be taken. You're blocking the queen from getting to h2 with this g3 move, and now knight d4 doesn't work anymore. But that is the Siberian trap. Hope you enjoyed watching this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.